My wife asked me to sign a few papers while I was sick in bed. Said it was for insurance. I trusted her. 2 months later, I was served eviction papers. She sold the house and moved to another state with her boss. I called her crying. She said, "You should have read the fine print." But I found one clause she didn't account for. I never thought my life would fall apart so fast. But it did. And the person I trusted the most was the one who wrecked it. I'm Rick, 47, from a small suburb just outside Chattanooga, Tennessee. I worked construction since I was 19, busted my back, lost a finger on a job once, and spent most days covered in dust and sweat. But I loved it, felt honest. My wife, Mallory, worked in an office for an insurance company downtown. She was smart, organized, good with people. We met at a barbecue through mutual friends. She liked how quiet I was, how grounded I was. I liked how she took charge. I thought we were good together. We got married when I was 30. Bought a modest 2-bedroom home together a few years later. It wasn't a mansion, but it was ours. I worked overtime to pay it off. She handled the bills. I never questioned her. Not once. Things changed this past winter. I got hit hard with pneumonia. It started with a cough that wouldn't go away, then turned into a full-blown hospital stay. I couldn't breathe without help. Couldn't walk 10 feet without getting dizzy. I was scared. Mallory brought me home after 4 days in the hospital. At first, she doted on me. Soup, pill schedules, warm compresses. She even took time off work, which was rare for her. But after about 10 days, her behavior changed. She stopped talking much, slept in the guest room, said she needed rest, would leave for long stretches during the day. When I asked, she said she was running errands or taking care of work stuff. Then one evening, she came into the bedroom with a stack of papers. Said they were just insurance stuff. Updates to our life insurance in case something happened to me. I trusted her. I didn't read a single word. I signed every page she slid in front of me. I was tired, weak, could barely sit up. I didn't even think twice. She kissed my forehead after I signed, told me to rest. Then she went and closed the door behind her. 2 months later, I was finally getting back on my feet. Still coughing, but walking again. Eating, trying to regain some strength. That's when I heard the knock at the door. It was a man in a tan uniform. Sheriff's Department. Eviction notice, he said, holding out an envelope. You've got 30 days. I thought it was some mistake. Maybe wrong address. I own this house, I told him. No, he said. Not anymore. I opened the envelope. My name wasn't on the deed. Just hers. She'd filed something during the time I was sick. Got my signature on it. Legally sold the house to a company in Florida. I was stunned. Shaking. The sheriff looked uncomfortable but said, "I'm sorry, sir. You'll need to find a new place." I tried calling her. No answer. I called again. Then again. Finally, she picked up. "Rick," she said, like I was bothering her. "What the hell is going on?" I asked. "Why am I being evicted?" Silence. Then, with a little chuckle, she said, "You should have read the fine print." That's when I lost it. I was crying. Not sobbing, but real tears. I felt betrayed. I gave this woman everything. My youth, my money, my trust. She hung up on me. Later, I found out through a mutual friend she had moved to Tampa. With Greg, her boss. They were living together. She transferred her job to the Florida office. Took her dog too. She planned this. For months, maybe longer. Waited until I was too weak to fight back, then pulled the rug out from under me. But here's the thing. Mallory wasn't as smart as she thought she was. In her rush to screw me over, she forgot one small clause in the documents I signed. One that could ruin everything for her if I played it right. And I did. After I got off the phone with her, I sat in my empty living room for a long time. I didn't even pack right away. I just sat there looking at the walls I painted myself, the floor I laid with my own hands. 18 years of sweat and work gone. Just like that. But I wasn't going to let her get away with it. The first thing I did was dig through every file cabinet, box, and drawer she hadn't touched. I didn't even know what I was looking for at first. I just knew there had to be something. And that's when I found the copy of the power of attorney document I'd signed while sick. It was slipped in between some old tax papers. I read every word this time, slowly, carefully, and there it was. One clause. It was small, Maybe she didn't think I'd notice. Maybe she didn't even read the template thoroughly. But it was there. A clause that stated the power of attorney was valid only during the period of incapacitation, as defined by a signed doctor's statement. She never got that signed statement. That meant everything she did. Selling the house, transferring ownership, closing out accounts was potentially invalid. Illegal, even. I called a lawyer the next morning. A rough old guy named Jack I knew from a side job years back. He remembered me. Said I helped rebuild his porch after a tornado in '09. He owed me one. When I told him everything, he asked for copies of the paperwork. "Goddamn," he muttered after reading them. "She screwed up. Big time." He filed an injunction that same week. Stopped the eviction cold. We also filed a civil suit for fraud and financial abuse. I added a claim for emotional distress too at his advice. Not because I expected much from it, but because it was true. What she did wrecked me. Then came the part one wasn't ready for, confronting her in court. She showed up with Greg. He looked smug. She looked like she was on top of the world. Designer purse, manicured nails, fake little smile. Like she couldn't wait to win again. But when my lawyer laid out what we had, her face cracked. "No medical statement," Jack said, tapping the stack of papers. "No doctor signed off that he was incapacitated. That makes the power of attorney invalid. Every transaction you authorized under that is subject to reversal plus potential charges." She tried to talk. Said I was incapacitated. Said I had signed willingly. Jack pointed to her email history. "Yes, we had that too. He got it through discovery. You emailed your boss a week before the papers were signed," he said. "Told him the house would be sold within the month and you'd be in Tampa by spring. That's premeditated fraud." Greg stood up and walked out halfway through the hearing. She started crying. For show, maybe. But the judge wasn't moved. By the end of the day, the house sale was frozen. The money she made from the sale, most of which was in her joint account with Greg, was seized. And she was ordered to pay restitution. But that wasn't the end. I wanted her to feel it. Really feel it. Mallory thought it was over after the judge froze the money and reversed the house transfer. She was wrong. See, during the court case, I learned a lot more than I expected. For example, while digging through discovery files, Jack found bank statements from an account I didn't even know existed. One Mallory opened 2 years before the divorce mess. It was in her name only and it showed regular transfers, small at first, $200 here, $400 there. But over 2 years? That added up to nearly $38,000. And all of it came from our joint account. Some from my paychecks. She'd been siphoning off money for years, building a nest egg for her escape. I told Jack, "Can we go after it?" "Oh, we're way past can," he said. "That's theft." So we filed a separate criminal complaint. Financial theft between spouses is still theft. And when you do it secretly, it can be called marital fraud. The bank records were proof. She never disclosed that account. She never told me. The DA took interest. Not because they cared about my heartbreak, but because of the numbers. 40 grand stolen, forged real estate paperwork, and out-of-state money movement? That's juicy for them. Makes for an easy win. Meanwhile, Greg dumped her. Yep. About a week after that courtroom blow-up, he cut ties. My buddy Marcus, who still worked at Mallory's old office, told me Greg had a wife in Florida. I didn't even know he was married. Neither did she. When Greg's wife found out about the affair, she filed for divorce and exposed him to his company's HR. He got demoted. They didn't fire him, but they iced him out of all his big accounts. Mallory was stuck. Her name was still on the fraud paperwork. She was about to be hit with a second court case. And now Greg was out of the picture. But I wasn't done. While going through the files with Jack, I noticed something else. A rental property. Turns out Mallory bought a small condo in Tampa under a trust before she left. She used that hidden bank account to put down a fat deposit. She planned to rent it out for income while living with Greg. The trust was sloppy. She used her maiden name. But she forgot that she used our old address on the trust paperwork. That connected it to her. So Jack filed a lien on it. She tried to claim it wasn't hers. Claimed it belonged to a friend. But the title was clear. The mailing address, the tax records, the timing, it was all too clean. We seized it. That condo became mine. I didn't sell it. I kept it. Rented it out to a young couple. Every month, the rent hits my account. She tried to appeal. Claimed harassment. Claimed emotional abuse. claimed I was trying to ruin her life. But I didn't have to do anything extra. All I had to do was let the truth bleed out slowly. One drip at a time. She had to move back to Tennessee a month ago. Her family cut her off when they heard what she did. Even her sister. She's crashing on some friend's couch now, trying to find work. She lost her job after the criminal complaint was filed. And the best part? The judge awarded me full restitution for everything. Lawyer fees, emotional distress, loss of property use, and even time lost from work. She's court-ordered to pay me over $92,000. It'll take her years. But that's fine. I've got time. 3 months after the second court case wrapped up, I got a call from the DA's office. Mallory had taken a plea deal. She avoided jail time barely, but she had a felony on her record now. Financial fraud. That meant no more working in insurance or any job dealing with money. And the restitution? Still on the hook for every dime. They told me if she missed even one payment, they'd bring her back to court and push for prison. I hung up the phone and just sat there in silence. Not happy. Not gloating. Just done. I moved out of Tennessee a month later. Packed up the few things I had left and headed west. I settled in a small town outside Flagstaff, Arizona. Got hired on with a construction crew. Good people. Honest work. Clean slate. Sometimes I still think about her. Not in a I miss her way, but in a quiet, dull ache kind of way. 17 years. That's a long time to live next to someone and not really know who they are. And yeah, I made mistakes too. I trusted too blindly. I didn't ask questions when I should have. I let her handle everything because I thought love meant never needing proof. That's on me. I let myself get played because I thought loyalty was enough. I learned the hard way, love without honesty is just a setup for heartbreak. A few weeks ago, I got an envelope in the mail from the collections agency. Inside was a check for $112.47. Mallory's first payment. There was no note, no apology, but I smiled anyway. It was small, but it was a start. She's working part-time at a gas station now. My friend Marcus saw her when he drove through town. Said she looked tired. Hollow. Said she didn't recognize him at first. That condo I took from her? Still mine. Still rented. I send the tenants Christmas cards. They have a kid now. Named their dog after me, believe it or not. I don't tell this story to get pity. I tell it because I know I'm not the only one who's been taken for a ride by someone they trusted. The betrayal cuts deep. It makes you feel stupid, like you missed something obvious. But the thing is, you're not stupid. You were decent. They took advantage of that. So if someone ever says to you, you should have read the fine print, make sure they remember this. Sometimes the fine print bites back. And it doesn't let go.